Hi everyone, number one Marmaduke fan here. I picked up these Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures books the same time I got all those 50-cent books from a Westfield comic store. And these were books that, as incentive covers means that the comic store had to order X number of books in order to be able to get these special variant covers. So it's a way of the companies kind of milking a little bit more money out of comic book shops so that the comic book shops can get the special covers. These were in a bargain bin, and I think the comic book store owner even knocked down the price a little bit more for me since I bought so much on that visit. So I dig Batman the Animated Series. That's what made me a Batman fan. I've liked several versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I haven't so much as watched an episode of them, but they're okay. I still don't know if I am ever going to have time to go check out their TV show. If I'm honest, if I wanted to watch some Turtles, I'd either go back and read the original books or watch the live-action 90s movie or watch either the 80s series or the 2000s series. I kind of caught the tail end of the 80s series when my older brother was watching it, and I was just a little scrapper. And then the 2000 Turtles were the Turtles of my childhood. I kind of like the 80s series for the first little bit, first season or two, but then I think the quality catered after that, and the 80s cartoon became, just doofy adventures where they're not even allowed to use their weapon. And I'm kind of sad that it can't be the 2000 Turtles going on an adventure with Batman, because even their look fits with the tone and the flavor of the Batman animated series universe. So, but I'm willing to give these CGI Nickelodeon Turtles a chance. One of the most interesting things about the Turtles to me is just the sheer variety in their designs, but I think I'm going to save talking about that in another video because I had a brainstorm. I want to give away both these comics. I enjoyed it, but I don't want to save it forever. So, but then I thought, well, gee, if I give both of these away, are people going to fight over which one they get? These are both issue 1 variant covers. So here's my brilliant idea. I'm going to do a comic cover critique with these guys, and the prize for that will be this one, because this is my preferred cover out of all the ones I've seen. This is probably the problem is there are like 30 variant covers of this, but of the ones I bought, this is my favorite. So the prize for this comic cover critique video is this cover. Then later when I do the review of the actual story, this comic will be the giveaway for that. So it's comic cover critique. So let's critique the comic covers before I throw the book away. All right. So between these two, there are several reasons why this one wins. Reason number 1 is this kind of has cool, dynamic, dark lighting, but when I take off my glasses and do the glasses test, or if you were to do Zach's trick of holding the book far away from you, the turtles start to disappear into the darkness. You start losing who they are and not being able to tell what's going on, and Batman recedes into darkness. And part of that is a bit because he's hunting them in the sewers and he's in shadow, and there's this sort of dynamic lighting to sort of reinforce the idea of like the danger or they're fighting each other. But even if you do that, you've still got to pump it up a bit color-wise to compensate for all the dark shadows. So what I would have done is I would have had more purple in the background. So right now it's green turtles against blue. That's good. I can still see the green when I take off my glasses. But if you push it towards purple, if you add in a little bit more of that red, because red is the complement of green on the color wheel, it'll punch forward the green a little more. And it'll actually help Batman pop forward more because he's blue and the background's blue-gray. So a purplish background would pump him forward more. It'd complement nicely with this yellow light to make a beautiful color harmony. Purplish red and yellow and green. It just worked better than gray, I think. So I guess the second thing is Batman doesn't look quite that good. The turtles are in dark shadow, but Batman isn't particularly in shadow. Shouldn't he be a little bit more menacing if we've got this bit that the turtles are all scared of him as he snuck up on them? And I don't know, it's kind of aping Bruce Timm's style, but not quite nailing it. This one is also aping that's the whole point. It's Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. This is supposed to be Bruce Timm's version of Batman. What I like about this is it's not 100% Bruce Timm style, but it evokes the idea of Bruce Timm's style and kind of looks cool in its own right. And it was looking at this version of the Turtles where I really got started thinking about their character designs a whole bunch. But I will save that tangent for another video. This has a strong circle right behind Batman to kind of frame him and Donatello. Batman is the most important part of the composition. He takes up the most space. He's got this nice halo right around him to kind of in Renaissance art, the halo makes the important characters seem more important. Jesus gets the halo. The random beggar on the street doesn't get the halo. But there are other centers of interest. Michelangelo is pushed forward in space and framed by this brick wall. So he also gets a nice chunk of prime real estate as well. There's a little bit of, maybe a little too much empty space up here, but generally this does a good job of filling everything. Donatello's up here, kind of activating this space. The halo takes up this whole chunk. And Batman's cape activates most of this space. We've got a little, few drip effects back here. Maybe a little bit more texture or creepy shadows or something could have filled some of this space. But it uses most of the prime real estate. It gives emphasis to some characters as the most important parts of the composition. But everyone has a chance to feel cool on the cover together. It's a Batman book and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book. It's not just a Batman book with a cameo for the Turtles. Ironically, the contents, the Turtles take up most of the time, and Batman gets a couple scenes. So whatever. The cover's trying to sell the idea of Batman meeting the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll talk about the story later. So look at all of these variant covers. This is nuts. This is clearly like a gimmick to get people who collect these things obsessively to buy 20 of the same book. Oh boy. So I've already picked this one as the winner, but out of all of these, my favorite apart from that one is this one. Oh, I forgot to get the name. Okay, Ty Templeton. Ty Templeton won the comic cover critique fight over Hillary Barda's cover this time. But comparing this one to all the others, I do like Hillary Barda's cover. There's some not very good ones. My favorite out of all of these is by Eddie Nunez, who I'd never heard of, but just looking at his style, I'm sure this guy's a long-time pro, because there's a lot of dynamism, heroic proportions. He's done the same job of making Batman and the Ninja Turtles seem cool, even though Batman has the primary spot in the spotlight, and Joker and Harley are presenting Batman and Turtles. So this is telling you so much in one cover. It's promising you that Joker and Harley are going to show up, which they do right at the end. It's showing you Batman and the Turtles, because that's the central conceit. They get to meet each other. It picks one character to get the most emphasis. There's a center of interest. You can zoom back and say, oh, there's Batman. And then you get closer and then you see, oh, there's Turtles too. But the Turtles aren't just teeny tiny little, is that Dre molecules in the background. So, and it's really well drawn. The rest of these, some of them were okay, but none of them spoke to me quite the same way. So the regular cover, yeah, that's pretty cool. A big solid moon in the background to have a place where your eye can rest. Similar thing. All of these artists are wrestling with a problem, which is what's interesting to me. How do you mix up Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles together on the cover so that people can look at it and say, Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and not miss either one? You need everyone who sees it to see both characters. The Turtles fans need to see the Turtles and say Turtles, and the Batman fans need to see it and say Batman. So, okay, good job. I looked at this and I thought, wow, that looks like Frank Miller. Oh, of course it does. It's Kevin Eastman, the original artist for the Turtles. Notice that when he gets to draw Batman on a cover, he draws him with Frank Miller's gigantic Batman shield from The Dark Knight Returns. I love Kevin Eastman. He's a rough artist who has accomplished something magnificent with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's achieved success. He's apparently a very great guy at cons who will just draw sketches for people. What a guy. He deserves all his success. Subscription cover, Batman massive and in the background, kind of symbolically, and the Turtles pushed forward. So this solves the problem of having Batman and the Turtles by separating them. Turtles is a group in the foreground. Batman is a large shape in the background. But even just on my phone, I hate that these are tiny, but it's actually great because it lets you imitate what it would be like trying to look for these comics on a big shelf full of comic book titles where you only get a quick glance. It's simulating for you what I do when I take off my glasses to look at these things. This all runs together. The only really notable thing is the bat signal. But Turtles and Batman in their background, they all smush together. Yeah, coloring issue. Already talked about those two. This one solves the problem, yeah, by putting the Turtles really tiny in the background and giving Batman all the prominence. The Turtles are actually the stars of this book. They should have more prominence. And it's kind of a dull, forward-facing look at Batman. This is where it's just getting nuts. It's two versions of the same cover. One has a little digital painting of the city in the background, and one has a blank gray space in the background. I'm guessing because Alex Kotkin, this was his sketch, and this was superimposed digitally, maybe by Kotkin or maybe just by a colorist. So I'm going to assume that this is Kotkin's original art. So it's got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Joker and Harley on a roller coaster fighting the Joker. And there's no Batman, which is actually oddly appropriate. It kind of promises you that Batman's going to show up because you see the Joker and know that Batman can't be too far behind. It's a bold decision not to include Batman on the cover of a Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book. But I actually would have forgiven it since Batman doesn't get as much prominence as the Turtles in this one. Two separate artists had the idea to evoke images from Batman the Animated Series, which I give props for because it helps communicate to people, not only is this Batman, this is Bruce Timm's Batman from the 90s TV show. This one, his shoulder looks a little bit scrunched. Let's get this to focus. Batman's shoulder looks a little bit scrunched, but I really like the idea of the ripples of the cape being a framing device for all four turtles. So as an abstract idea, I think that's just downright clever. It's a clever way of making Batman important and then this entire area of his cape important. This one I think is sick. The lightning right behind Batman, but then the turtles right in front of him. So it's capturing all the energy and coolness of that moment of lightning striking behind Batman, and then just having the turtles be with Batman. You're already starting to imagine the adventure that they're going to go on together. This one is all brown and muddy and washes together. And Batman, so in this one, Batman was given prominence and the Turtles were pushed to the background. In this one, the Turtles are given prominence and Batman's just sort of doing like a little schoolgirl hop, skip, and a jump in the air behind them. And I can't see him at all. So give Batman some prominence. If you're going to include him at all, then give him a little bit of prominence. This one here, Nerd Block exclusive by J Bone. That's kind of cool. They're on a gargoyle. Batman's looking up at the turtles. The turtles are all getting really enthusiastic. Batman's smiling, so we're getting the idea that maybe he is kind of like the parent. He's the experienced superhero, and maybe they're a little bit more immature, but he still finds them somewhat charming. Okay. And this is capturing the Art Deco feel of the TV show with all this architecture and the gargoyle. Yeah. This one, Zing EB Games exclusive, art by Ben Bishop. Good grief, too many digital effects. Yeah, it's really just the characters kind of flying in space, flying down at some guy. So it's actually pretty cool and dynamic, come to think of it. Raphael in the foreground, Donatello in the background. So yeah, it's using foreground, middle ground, background to fill the comic book cover with more stuff. If you think about it, if everyone's sitting straight flat to the front, you're going to fill up your real estate really fast. If you've got some foreshortening going on, you can fit in a whole bunch of characters and still have room to squeeze in your Batman. So not my favorite, but good use of foreshortening. This one, New England Comics exclusive, art by Ian Nichols. Good grief, so many of these. Okay, Penguin and Riddler, Joker and Harley in the front looking up, and Batman and the Turtles are flying down from above. Okay, yeah. The villains' faces are a little bit dull, just kind of like straight on flat, looking up. Wah! And then there's Batman and the Turtles flying down. This would have benefited from a foreshortened angle like Ben Bishop had, where we'd be looking up into the sky, maybe like underneath the villains' chins or something, and then the heroes would be foreshortened falling down from above. So it'd be like we were the villains and Batman and the Turtles were falling down on us. I did not like the coloring of this. It's just a red-blue gradient. Looks like, I don't know, the bisexual pride flag or something. Bisexual bats and the turtles, whatever. Very triggering. So this one, let's see, Batman's right above. It looks like just a bunch of drawings that were pasted together, really. So a Batman jumping forward, the turtles behind Batman and kind of in the four corners, jumping at Harley and Joker posing in the front. This is what I call a blob composition. That's the composition. A big fat blob. If you trace this with your finger, or if you draw this, that's what I keep forgetting to do this, but I actually like to draw some of these comic book covers out sometimes to get a feel for it. If you were to draw this, you go up and down, you've got a strong shape here, you got a cool guy down here, you got a point up here. It's interesting to look at because it's interesting to draw and move your hand around, or to move a pencil around while you're imitating it. Blah. Up, down, left, right, swoopy doopy, around, back. Okay, I already praised Eddie Nunez's cover as one of my favorites. Nowhere Games and Comic exclusive? Good grief. Okay, Harley Quinn in the front. So that's clever. Rather than promising Joker and Harley, you just promise Harley. And she's got a pizza box, which is funny. She's clowning one of the comedic aspects of the Turtles. The Turtles are kind of reacting comedically. I see Michelangelo's big bug eyes there, and Batman's clear in the back. So it was really fast. I hate that they made this many covers. It's way too many covers to choose from. It's obviously a marketing gimmick at this point. I thought most of these covers were kind of weak, just sort of generic, hey guys, draw Batman and the Turtles for us kind of art. A couple people did, but I really love getting to see all of these artists take on a challenge in a different way. I like seeing some people take on the challenge by emphasizing Batman the Animated Series. I was interested to see that some people put Batman front and center and some people put Turtles front and center, and some people tried to balance Batman and the Turtles in their own way. So even though Batman is the primary interest in Nunez's, the Turtles still look cool. Batman's kind of the primary character in this one, yet you still pay attention to the Turtles. The same in the regular cover. Really fascinating way to look at this composition problem and imagine the pros and cons of all of these approaches. So this comic book cover is up for grabs. This physical comic book, I will send you the physical comic book, the sleeve it came in. I will get a board for it so I can send you a drawing too. If you would like to enter to win this comic, you need to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I want you to share this video somewhere. I don't care if it's your Twitter or Gab or Minds or Facebook or DeviantArt or whatever. Just comment in the comments. Use the word shared in the comments so I know you shared it. See, I shared this. Just so you know, I shared it. I shared it to win. As long as I see the word shared in your comment on this video, you win. You will be entered to win this comic book, Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1, an adequate story. I'll be reviewing it later. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. Love you guys. Catch you later.